This video is sponsored by BookWalker, Kadokawa's official ebook store for Japanese manga and light novels. Right now they have a deal where if you register for a BookWalker membership during March 15th to March 25th, you get a coupon code NC80 during that period where you get 80% off up to 3,000 yen or $27 US dollars ish off on any English manga and light novel ebooks on the global store. So check that out in the description below. Now, even though this is a sponsored video, I actually really genuinely enjoyed making this video because I've been meaning to read more manga. I mean, I have been reading manga, but this was like a nice opportunity to be like, hey, get off your ass and actually read some manga you've been wanting to try. So I picked 3 that I was already interested in. I took suggestions on Twitter, and I got 2 other ones, and I picked 5 manga to review. And it was actually nice just reading manga. Like, it was an excuse to read it, and I discovered some dope titles. Anyway, I'm gonna give you my honest reviews on all 5 titles. So here we go. The first one I read was With the Light, Raising an Autistic Child, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. The concept is this mother, Sachiko, they have a baby and it turns out the baby is autistic and they don't really know what to do. They've never heard about autism before, and so it's her journey to try to raise her son, Hikaru, as best as she can, despite all the obstacles and hardships she experiences from other people and also just through her own journey. It's absolutely lovely. One of my brothers is autistic, so I really could connect to this story. The research has clearly been done. The original manga author got the inspiration for this because a classmate of her son's in kindergarten had autism, and so she talked to the child's mother and was inspired to write this, and so a lot of care and research has been put into this. What I love about it is that not only does it show the kindness that others show Hikaru and his family, but it also shows the positive effect that they give back just by their love and their care for each other. I got teary-eyed at parts. It made me think of kind of like what my parents did for my brother. It really connected with me on a personal level, but I think it's also very important just for spreading more awareness about autism in general. The art is lovely, and through 1 volume, I was so captivated. I was completely sucked in to this family's journey. This might be my favorite of the 5. The next one I read was Vinland Saga. Here's one I've been meaning to read for a long time. I've only read the first volume, so I'm sure the plot gets way more complicated, but basically it's about this character named Thorfinn, who is the son of a warrior who was murdered by this sort of Viking assassin-y kind of guy. And so he's seeking revenge for his father's death. The art is masterful. It starts out with this big battle scene, and it's incredibly cinematic in its paneling. Characters' facial expressions are distinct and crisp. The art is just phenomenal. For some reason, I was worried that this manga would be like stuffy and dry. I guess I thought, oh, maybe it's like a historical manga. It's gonna be kind of like a snooze fest, which was totally unfair of me. But it's really not. It honestly kind of reminds me of Hiromu Arakawa's work with like Full Metal Alchemist, which can really balance a lot of room for there's room for humor and fun, even though it's definitely a very dramatic tale with a lot of gravitas and some dark violence. Like, it also has room for comedy, which I actually really like. I like when a manga can really balance the two very deftly. It hits its emotional beats expertly. I wasn't into it right away. The battle, it kind of just felt like a big battle, but once it started exploring Thorfinn's past and sort of his relationship with his father, I was totally on board. The third manga I read is My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. It's an autobiographical single-volume manga about the author's sort of issues and struggles with mental health, her relationship with her parents and sort of the pressure she gets from them, her eating disorder, and also her exploration of her sexuality, which she sort of discovers through struggling with her mental health. It is deeply, unflinchingly personal, maybe almost uncomfortably so. It tackles depression and sexual identity head on. You get very personal looks into how she dealt with those, and yet she manages to present these themes in a way where it's still enjoyable. The art is kind of like Western stylish, kind of cartoony. It's a very interesting contrast between the very fun art and the very personal and dark themes. I think this is a great debut, and if the next volume is as interesting and personal as this one, I'm very interested. Let's go on to Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, which I hated. Premise, it's like the War of the Rings, and there's this annoying guy. I don't remember their names because I hated them all. It's Yuhi. And then there's Samidare, the princess, and they have to fight against a wizard who's trying to destroy the world with a giant hammer. But I guess the princess wants to also destroy the world. I don't know. I detested the main character. I hate characters that are like, I'm a smug otaku kind of douchebag and I don't care about anybody, and I'm also completely boring somehow, and also kind of a pervert. There are comedy bits in it, and the timing and paneling are excruciating, and the jokes already are not very good, but man, I'm like reading Silver Spoon at like the same time, which I love, and it's pretty astonishing how different good comedic timing and paneling can be. There's some good stuff. I think the action scenes are executed fairly well. The monster designs are interesting because the wizard has like these golems or something. The main guy's relationship with his abusive grandpa is like the only remotely interesting thing I found in this entire first volume. His grandpa abused him as a child, so it's like him sort of coming to terms with it. It's kind of done okay, I guess, and that was a part where I was like, oh, okay, there's actually something going on here. Otherwise, it's just kind of clumsy, amateurish writing, all wrapped up in cliches. Maybe it gets better past this first volume, but I'm not going to read more because I just do not care. And the final manga is Horimiya. The concept of this one is there's a girl named Hori and a guy named Miyamura, and Hori at school is this very like popular, kind of pretty girl who everyone likes, and Miyamura is kind of like this shy, sort of loner, sort of otaku-looking guy who's just kind of gloomy. But then at home, Hori is actually a very responsible, single mom-esque type because she has to take care of her brother, and she's very like responsible and kind of like down to earth. And then she runs into Miyamura, because Miyamura finds her brother, like a little brother, and brings him home. And Miyamura turns out to be this like really cool looking guy with like piercings and like kind of a bad boy look, and he just hides the way he looks at school. It's kind of a goofy concept, like, oh man, these people look different in different situations. But I do like the idea of getting to know someone on a deeper level. That's what resonated with me with this manga, and I really, really liked it. I think what helps is that the main two characters are really likable and also really enjoy each other's company. I'm so tired of characters who have to bicker all the time, or have to create some kind of false drama. Like, these two characters are really good friends. And then there's some romance going on, and I'm a sucker for that. But it's done well. It's done believably. Like, Miyamura doesn't think of himself highly enough to think that Hori would like him, but Hori clearly likes him, and also is like kind of hurt that Miyamura kind of puts her like on the popular side, like, oh, she's too popular for me. So there's an interesting relationship going on there. I'm definitely gonna read more because I love those two characters. They're so cute. All right, that was 5 manga reviews. So thank you for watching, and thank you BookWalker for sponsoring this. If you guys want to get that 80% off deal, check out the details below. Otherwise, I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Read some manga.